Welcome to a 2v2 on Trois Pont. This game's going to be Wedge Antilles, the famed X-Wing pilot, or whatever pilot, I don't know, some kind of pilot from Star Wars. It's a Star Wars reference. And Ohyeahdude, playing as Mixed Axis in the south, Breakthrough, and, wow, what is this, Commander? Joint Operations, okay, I don't see this one very frequently. I think I've seen it a couple times, though. It's the LEF Pack 43 Commander. I need to learn that portrait. Alright. Breakthrough and Joint Operations versus Vsvermeiren and Herazu. Playing as Mixed Allies in the north. Airborne and Soviets playing as, or Airborne and Guard Motor Coordination. So, all commanders selected quite early. Quite early. It looks like the initial engagement for the cemetery will go to the Axis. Just Pyos and Kuba Wagon will be enough to chase away one solo rifle squad. Pretty unusual capping order. You almost always on this map see just everyone flood into the cemetery. Try and get that right side fuel. With a minor presence on the left, but it looks like the Allies are kind of splitting themselves all over the map initially here. With this rifle squad going for the munitions. Should win the engagement versus these Pyos. And conscripts in the house should win an engagement against those Sturms. So all in all, it looks like the initial engagements are going pretty well for the Allies. But they will not be able to take control of a fuel point for some time. This one falling into these Pyos control. And this one initially in Sturm Pyo control. It's going to take a little while before the squad gets that captured. But it looks like the general engagements over here on the left side will go to the Allies. Conscripts actually leave their position in that building, surprisingly. They were winning that engagement against those Sturms. Kind of surprised he did that, but he will be able to get the fuel point under his control, and these two squads of Volksgrenadiers are taking their sweet time getting back over there. He's gotten Mechanized Regiment headquarters after his Kuba Wagon and immediately thrown on fuel transfer, so I'm expecting to see flak half-track first from him. Riflemen engaging here in the center. Do have a position in cover and in this building, but they are losing this engagement. I think at this range and at this health, those Grenadiers will definitely win this engagement. Meanwhile, the right side cemetery is now defended by a machine gun and these Pyos, so be pretty much
New units are ready to deploy.
in Axis control for some time. Bunker going up to just make it even harder to take this area, and the riflemen on the right side will get pushed away by what Axis troops are defending. Grenade toss right there. Forces those conscripts to reposition a little, no big deal. Kind of a waste of 30 munitions overall. And he's got the resources for a flak half-track, so I'm thinking maybe Puma. Either that or he just hasn't queued it up yet. I don't know. Axis winning on pretty much all fronts. Except for over here on the left, where they will stall the capture of this fuel, but not be able to take control of this area. Maxim in this house actually has a line on that victory point, sort of. I didn't know that. That's kind of interesting. He's going to move over here onto the left area, where the Maxim can't hit him. And that Kuba Wagon rather rudely destroyed his teammate's barbed wire. How inconsiderate. He worked so hard on that. What the hell, man? Driving over your teammate's barbed wire. Such bad 2v2 random etiquette right there.
120mm mortars are now available for deployment. Guard rifle infantry squads can now be...
There's the M20. Hits the field pretty hard, although he's could have maneuvered that a little bit more efficiently, but fortunately he will wipe that Grenadier squad. Drives over the rest of that barbed wire. This Kuba Wagon's gonna die if it... I don't know if there's any way it can survive this situation. There it goes. M20 finishes it off with that burst. And the Kuba Wagon's destroyed. He has gone Puma. Puma has not arrived to the battlefield in time to prevent that from happening, but overall the Axis are in a pretty strong position right now. That M20 is going to have a pretty big impact before that Puma arrives, but once it gets to the right side it should be able to screen it away easily enough. The Allies will continue to maintain control of the munitions and fuel points over here. And the biggest losses that the Axis sustained during that was the full Grenadier squad and the Kuba Wagon, which is problematic, but it's not the end of the world by any means. Should still be able to hold onto the right side. M20 is taking a while to move back to assist in engagements over here. I think we're going to see an M6 anti-tank mine planted right there, as well as a bunch of Soviet mines. So if the Puma tries to engage on the left, it will have to do so with Minesweeper support. Minesweeper is not currently being upgraded, though. That Puma needs to be careful. Very careful. This should be highly suspect, by the way. Don't chase that thing, are you crazy? Wow, that should be a dead Puma. I can't believe he didn't plant a mine right there. Either way, it just got immobilized, diving over a Soviet mine. He's so lucky that wasn't an M20 mine. That should be a dead Puma. He's lucky that thing's alive at all. And if it does happen to survive this engagement, it'll only be via some miracle. He definitely deserves to lose that Puma for that little maneuver he just did.
Infantry squad has been killed.
Volksgrenadiers will not be able to keep these conscripts at bay. And that is a dead Puma. There it goes. Puma destroyed. Horrible usage of that Puma with no minesweeper support right over top of where a stationary M20 was sitting. So, nobody's fault but his own. Really should have thrown a minesweeper on those terms as soon as he saw that M20. Which I don't think has planted a single mine. Soviet player has been a lot more diligent about throwing mines down. The Oster is going to be successful in holding onto the right side with nothing but a bunker and a machine gun for now. He needs to start throwing some more units on the field. He's made a fresh squad of grenadiers and he's building tier 3. Pretty early tier 3. 7 minutes, getting that out pretty quick. Thanks to pretty decent early map control and the fact that he skips the tier 2 structure. So we might be seeing him rush an Ostwind, which would probably be pretty good, but he's going to need to keep it alive a lot better than his teammate kept his Puma alive, that's for sure. Rifle grenade on those guards forces them to reposition, but does only minor damage, and the Grens will be forced to retreat right there. Ooh, huge grenade right there. That's going to be a stolen machine gun. The American player has no way of destroying this bunker right now. Oh, except for this M20. M20 circles around behind the back. Fortunately, no teller mines on the flank. He himself is a little bit guilty of not supporting his vehicle with a minesweeper as well. Has anybody bought a minesweeper? I guess not. Nobody has bought a minesweeper. I thought he was going to pop the crew out of the bunker to blow this thing up with a bazooka, but I guess he's not doing that. Paratroopers getting dropped here behind enemy lines. Sternpyos jumping into close range against that rifle squad to try and force this retreat. A grenade just got tossed, but that doesn't do anything. I don't know why he did that. Axis forces making their way out of the base will chase away that paratrooper squad. And that machine gun will be forced to retreat away from these 3 squads. These 3 squads are just defending in green cover right here for now. There's tier 3 from the Soviet player, a little bit after the Oster tier 3, which is already producing an Ostwind. Soviet player a little bit behind on fuel, having produced a tier 2 structure because he has to. We'll probably not be able to get a tier 3 unit out before that Ostwind hits the field. Once he sees that Ostwind, it'll probably inform his decision to go T-34 over T-70. Not to mention the existence of this structure already protecting this center. That's pretty vulnerable placement, by the way. It would not take a particularly aggressive anti-tank gun placement to destroy this. It could prove very difficult to defend. There is a little bit of green cover that infantry can stand in the way to stop anything from destroying it, but that's, I don't know, that feels pretty vulnerable. If the Soviets do decide to field a heavy mortar on the other side of the bridge, it'll be almost impossible to prevent this thing from being destroyed.
Pin down! Unit ready.
Ostwind is firing at the units in this house. They're going to reposition to safety here in the center victory point. Volksgrenadiers are throwing up some sandbags. Maxim working on those Volksgrenadiers will suppress them though. Ostwind making its way up the left side, completely unsupported, is gonna hit a mine if it doesn't have minesweeper support at some point. There's one right there. Another one right there. He's just asking for, okay, there he goes. It's a mine. No minesweeper at all from either Axis player. Just diving a tank way deep with no support at all. Meanwhile, the American player is about to make a big push for the fuel point. The bunker's still standing. There are grenadiers positioned in cover and a Rakettenwerfer right here. This could prove to be a difficult engagement for the US player if he doesn't field some sort of way to destroy this bunker. Grenade is off target. His paratroopers can destroy the bunker with a demo charge if they can get back there, which they should be able to do, just given sufficient smoke and stuff. Most of his infantry is not even helping, though. One squad on each side will retreat. Ostwind is taking heavy damage from PTRSs. I think it's just gonna die. And main gun destroyed, and it is killed because it hit a mine, unsupported, behind enemy lines. Has no repairs, no minesweeper, no infantry, and it goes down to guards, which is really a shame. That he really needed to have a dramatic impact with that Ostwind, and now he has nothing but 2 piles and 2 grens, and it doesn't look like he's going to be able to hold on the right side. Paratroopers get clear of the arc fire of that bunker and will force a retreat or wipe. Okay, so much for those grenadiers. I don't know what he's microing right now because he barely has any units at all. But those paratroopers should have no problem destroying that bunker right there. The riflemen are moving to take control of the victory point. These squads are barely moving. M20 hasn't moved in a while either. Too many idle units. Way too many idle units.
What the hell am I meant to do with these? Tank support is here. Sherman ready. Well, grab your shit and follow me. Enemy infantry! Area secure. That was they just kicked us up a notch! Keep firing! Keep firing!
Paratroopers have a pretty dramatic impact. Wipe a bunch of squads, force some retreats, and blow the bunker, but the fuel is still in Axis control. He needs to, like, select a squad and right-click in the capture circle.
Under fire! Ready to go!
MG42 suppresses those grenadiers. They'll be forced to retreat or just die. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell. Rifle grenade isn't going to do anything. One model wiped. Guards moving on the flank of this flamethrower squad, plus a Sherman is on the field. Will easily chase away that flamethrower, if not wipe it on retreat. Kind of a late reaction. What is he doing? Hits the mine on retreat and dies. Soviet player will be able to get full control of the left back easily. MG42 firing on more grenadiers, which are positioned in green cover. I don't know who is going to win that. Pretty short range engagement for that MG, but green cover is pretty great. There's Panzer II on the field now, making its way towards the right side.
Our territory.
Ooh. Grenade toss from the lieutenant right there wipes those grins. Panzer II will convince the American player to make a full retreat from this area. Full squad of riflemen also gets wiped. Lots of wipes.
We have our reinforcements. Pioneers ready for assignment. We have a fresh grenadier squad.
PTRS blob is blowing up Rakettenwerfers and infantry models with ease. Imagine how scary that would be if he, like, built green cover. gonna be even worse. He's about to get control of this cutoff. If he makes his way all the way south to this cutoff, the Axis will have no resource income at all. I'm not sure if that looks will win this engagement. Probably. Those guard squads are pretty low. He won't be able to chase that far along the retreat path without hitting a mine though, so I don't know how aggressive he wants to be right here. He lost his Puma to a mine on this road. I hope he doesn't lose his looks to one too. He's not going to. Gives up the chase. While some infantry make their way forward to get this strategic point back under control. Meanwhile, the Sherman that's going to be the second wipe it gets, I think. 7 kills. 1 pilot squad wiped, 1 grenadier squad wiped. The Allies still don't have this fuel point though, via some miracle. The Axis have managed to convince the Allies to stay away from that fuel point for the last like 2 or 3 minutes, even though there's barely any infantry over here. Rakettenwerfer gets wiped by a miracle shot right there. Panzer IV moving up to engage it, but it can't chase through these AT grenades. That one bounces. Sherman has still got high explosive rounds equipped to engage those. What are those Volksrangers doing? It's a suicide. Okay. 2 squads wiped here in the cemetery. Riflemen exhibiting similarly suicidal behavior. God, the number of squad wipes this game is ridiculous. Panzer II takes. Oh my. No! What is he doing? That's the second time he went way too deep with a tank and died to a mine. Takes a bunch of damage from the field gun and then gets finished off making some ridiculous flanking attempt. I don't even know what he thought he was going to accomplish with that almost dead looks behind enemy lines. Well, it's completely dead now. So much for that. Meanwhile, the Sherman and Panzer IV are still slugging it out. Could go either way, honestly. AT gun moving up sneakily in the back will seal the deal, though. Maybe. Okay, well there goes the Sherman. Panzer IV is a little lazy about getting to safety after winning the engagement, though. Both tanks are destroyed. The fuel still hasn't been captured by the Allies. Just stand in a circle. What's so hard about it? It's been like 3-4 full minutes since you won the engagement for the cemetery. Still no pressure on this structure by the Allies, which are focusing their efforts on the fuel points, appropriately so, by the way. Certainly makes sense. Sturms step on a mine and get wiped by guards over here on the left. I don't think that the Axis have had an army of more than like 9 units total at any point in this entire game. Jeez. Rifleman retreating right there. This AT gun's been recrewed. I think that was an infantry support gun. Yes, infantry support gun on the bridge. These 2 T-34s are firing on the Tier 4 structure. It's going to be the T-34-85 column. That's a problem to which the Axis have no solution at all. And that's probably GG.
Herazu command has been lost. Dispatching a mobile HQ vehicle. Ceasefire. Check empty. Armor ready. The cavalry has arrived. Form up. Contact! German forces tracking on 300 points.
And there it is. The Axis will surrender. Well, I would say that this one pretty much just came down to not only unit preservation, but also a failure to spend resources. But yeah, mostly unit preservation. Of both tanks and infantry. Not to mention, I feel like priorities... I don't know. Axis didn't really seem like they worked together for the right side all that much. And, Ohyeahdude barely had any units on the field at any given moment. Just really struggled to keep his forces alive. And minesweepers. Absolutely minesweepers are necessary. I mean, just look at this. Look how many high priority targets just died to mines because they had no support. That's pretty much the worst thing you can do, is just send that vehicle in deep with no support and then pray. GG, Allies win.